A shout out to all of the replay viewers. As you're coming in, share the live with someone you know who needs it. If you have not grabbed your reset kit that goes along with this challenge, of course, it's not something you have to have. But if you're serious about integrating this into your lifestyle, this is the perfect tool for you. It has 5 audios. I included a digital workbook. You can use it digitally or you can print it out. What else is in there? You have a 30-day nervous system tracker. I'm missing something. And a PDF that gives you 10 micro practices that will allow you to reset your nervous system literally in 60 seconds or less. So tomorrow is the last day that you can grab that. So I said I was going to mention it as soon as I come on, and then I'll mention it again at the end, because after tomorrow, you will not be able to get this as a stand-alone product. Okay, if you're new here, welcome. Lotion, my bad, y'all. Welcome to the healing side of YouTube. This is day 4 of the nervous system reset challenge. Today we're talking about the difference between coping and actually healing. And I had to change the time today because I didn't realize yesterday that I have class at 1 p.m. today as well. And I'm not missing class. So yeah, we're here. Thank you, girl. I think it just shows like that on camera. This is actually like a nude color. But I think it just shows on camera. It's like a pink. Yeah, I want to sit down so bad, but the lighting does not permit. I don't know what's up with that. All right, so if you're ready to go from surviving to thriving, drop a heart in the chat. Pick your favorite color heart. I just want to sit down. You won't let me sit down. Will that work? Nope. Day 4 and she's still trying to sit down. Okay, so we can go ahead and get started. So you all, some of you have collected the tools. Thank you all for hitting the like button. Also, you have collected the tools. Look at that. I'm not going to be like some people and be like, oh, it's an angel. No, it's not. It's the reflection of the sun. You have collected the tools. Okay. You've done the breath work. Some of you, you've tried meditation. You've done the journaling. You've taken breaks. You've gone on vacation. You did all the things. But guess what? You still get overwhelmed. Why is that? You still get triggered and your nervous system still feels like it is on a roller coaster. I am on an emotional roller coaster. This is why you got to be careful what songs you sing as well. So you're thinking, what's wrong with me? Why am I not healed yet? I don't understand why this is taking so long. You have all of this stuff going in your head, but this is what I need you to know. There's a difference between coping. Hello. There's a difference between coping in the moment and then actually building a regulated nervous system. That's not the same thing. So over the next, I'll try to cut it a little bit shorter today. So over the next, I don't know how many minutes, you're going to learn the difference between coping and actually regulating. You're going to build your personal 3-part nervous system toolkit, and then you're going to see what sustainable healing actually looks like for the high achieving woman. Okay, Candace. So welcome to day 4. Let's talk about surviving, moving from a place of surviving to a realm of thriving. So I'm determined to find a way to sit down. Let me guess what some of you all are thinking. If I was really healed, I wouldn't get triggered anymore. Some of you have already said that. As you're coming in, can you all please, please, please hit the like button? Oh my God, not my God sister on here. Hey, Kaylin. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, okay? So some of you are thinking if I was really healed, I wouldn't be triggered anymore. That's what you're thinking. You're also saying, well, I shouldn't be exhausted. I shouldn't be anxious still. I shouldn't be getting overwhelmed. I've done all of this work. I don't understand why this is still happening to me. Okay, hey girl, hey. Some of you, you're like, okay, I must be broken. This is not working. I've done all of the things. It ain't working. So I got to be broken. I told y'all I used to say that about myself all the time. I'm so broken. Oh God, I'm so broken, right? Drop a heart in the chat if you ever thought this. But here's the truth. You are not broken. I keep telling you all that. You're not broken just because you get dysregulated. What did we talk about yesterday? Perfectionism. You are a human being. Okay? So healing does not mean that you will never get activated again. This is not that. Okay? Healing means that you're going to notice the triggers faster. Healing means you now have the tools to respond. You know how to regulate instead of crashing out. Okay? And being on Channel 1 News or in a dollar paper. Healing means you know how to come back to your baseline quicker. All right. Healing means you don't stay stuck in this place as long. All right. So this is what actual regulation looks like. Thank you for the hearts. And today we're going to build that capacity together. So here's what we're covering today. The difference between coping and regulation and why coping isn't a bad thing. Your personal 3-part nervous system kit. You're going to build it today if you have time to stay. If not, just watch the replay, but you're literally going to build it before I get off of this live. We're also going to talk about integration practices that actually work in real life. I'm not here to play with you. I don't like my time wasted, so I'm not going to waste your time. And we're going to talk about what sustainable healing looks like for high achieving women. So by the end of this session, you will have a clear, somebody say clear, you will have a clear toolkit and know exactly what thriving means for your nervous system. You don't have RONESHIA's nervous system. You shouldn't be out here trying to copy RONESHIA. For what? We're two different people, two different nervous systems. You shouldn't be comparing yourself to people you see on social media. You're not the same, okay? So you're going to know what it looks like for your nervous system. So let's dive in. We're going to start with coping. What is coping? Coping is short-term survival. So coping is something that gets you through the moment without you falling apart completely. Do y'all understand? Some examples of coping. Scrolling on your phone after a hard day. You just scroll. You may zone out watching Netflix or binge watching my YouTube channel. If y'all want to binge watch something, binge watch my YouTube channel, okay? You may zone out watching Netflix and chilling. You may have wine or some type of comfort food to cope. Some of you, when you're stressed, there are certain foods, whether it be sweets, soul food, it's just certain stuff. You got to have a sweet tea from McDonald's. It's just certain stuff that you go to when you get stressed. That's an example of coping. I'm not going to say that. Overworking to avoid feeling. So you just give yourself more to do because you don't want to feel. I'm going to just work, as if that's going to heal it and make it go away. Also, over planning to feel in control. We talked about it, I don't know what day this week, maybe multiple days this week. Over planning, you micromanage. Okay. And even using good tools like breath work because you're trying to avoid processing. Breath work is amazing, but you shouldn't use that to avoid processing. That valley, was it yesterday or the day before, where I was talking about something and I saw this valley, like this dark valley of denial. You're not going to use breath work to ignore the actual situation. You still have to sit with it. You still have to process it. But these are some coping tools, okay? So coping isn't bad. Sometimes you need to cope. Sometimes survival mode is necessary. But here's the thing. Coping doesn't change your baseline. You're not supposed to stay here. Okay? That is hilarious, Candace. This is not supposed to be your baseline. Coping shouldn't be your baseline. This is not where you stay. So you can scroll for hours, but the stress is still in your body, even after scrolling. You can binge Netflix, Tubi. Where y'all be watching movies at? I like Tubi. Tubi movies be hitting. Lifetime, YouTube. I watch YouTube and TikTok more than anything, honestly. Some of you can use TikTok battles to cope, right? But your nervous system, after the battle is over, your nervous system is still dysregulated. So you can't white knuckle your way through it because nothing has actually shifted. You can try, nothing has shifted, okay? So coping gets you through, it doesn't heal you. It gets you through for the moment, but this is not real healing, you all. Type coping in the chat if that's what you've been doing. Let me take a sip. If you know you've been coping, or if you've ever coped, type coping in the chat. So this is where a lot of people are. A lot of high achieving women. They cope. And then they call it healing. Candace, I promise you, you are not alone. This is where most of them are. All right. So let me show you what regulation is. When we're talking about regulation, we're talking about capacity, and flexibility. So this means your nervous system still gets activated. Why? Because you're human. You're not a robot and you're not perfect. Of course, you're still going to get activated. Of course. But you know how to cope. Not cope. I'm sorry. You know how to regulate. So you can notice it. Although you get activated, you get triggered, you notice it quickly. You can respond with some sort of tool, whatever works for your nervous system. And then you can return to baseline without staying stuck in it for hours or days, weeks, months, years, decades, like I was. Okay, so here's an example. This is an example of coping. You've had a hard day at work. You come home, you scroll on your phone for 2 hours. You go to bed. When you go to bed, you're still feeling anxious. When you wake up, guess what? You are exhausted. You wake up drained. Nothing has shifted because all you did was cope. When you're talking about regulation, same example. You had a hard day at work. You notice, keyword notice. You notice that your body is tight. You notice that your mind is racing. You pay attention to your body now. So you do 2 to 3 minutes of extended exhale, gentle movement, whatever the tool is that you choose, and that charge moves through your body. Now, when you go to bed, you can actually rest. And when you wake up, you feel more resourced. You're ready for the day. You don't wake up exhausted. That's the difference between coping and actual regulation. All right. So coping is going to numb you. Regulation is going to cause you to process. Can you all please hit the like button that pushes the video out? Coping distracts you for a moment, but regulation releases. It's going to teach you how to release whatever that is that you're processing. Coping is temporary, regulation builds capacity. I hope you all are seeing the difference. Drop a R, the letter R in the chat, if you've ever felt the difference between coping and when you actually regulate it. Let me know. Drop a R in the chat. I may not pause as much today. All right. So here's what I need you to hear. Thank you, Candace. Here's what I need you to hear. Being activated, getting triggered doesn't mean you failed at healing. Now, if you're getting triggered and you throwing stuff across the room and people got to duck and you putting people in the hospital, they got to go to urgent care, you probably got some more work to do. You understand? It may even need anger management. But just because you have the feeling, it doesn't mean you're failing at healing. Okay? People can trigger you, and you can literally sit here and be like, I could eat you alive, but I'm not going to. You notice it quickly, and instead of responding, you keep it moving. You delete the comment. I've had to do that on social media recently. I'm like, some people just think people get real bold behind these keyboards and stuff. But instead of responding, I'm like, why should I do that? Because I can stay regulated, eat you alive, but then it's just going to look bad because look at the work I'm doing now. You understand? So it doesn't mean that you are failing at healing if you get activated, okay? It is an invitation to regulate. Just regulate. So you don't have to be perfect. Know that, okay? You don't have to never get triggered. You just have to have the tools that bring you back to yourself. Is this making sense? And this is what I'm going to help you build today. All right? So I'm going to give you a simple, somebody say simple, 3-part framework. We're going to set up your toolkit. This is a problem that a lot of people have. They know 20 different nervous system tools. They have all of this stuff, right? But they don't know what to use when. Okay? They don't know which one they need to pick up in that very moment. They don't know, well, how come this works sometimes, but then when I tried this, it didn't work that time. All right? It's too much going on. So you end up being overwhelmed by the tools. A lot of times when people start getting overwhelmed, they just do nothing. Instead of saying, okay, what's going on? Why am I overwhelmed? Or let me break it down and make it more simple. They just get overwhelmed and they walk away from the work altogether. This will keep you stuck. So here's what you actually need. You need a tiny 3-part toolkit that meets your nervous system where it is. All right, not 100 tools. 3 buckets. 1, 2, 3. Like I have 3 likes on this video right now. 1, 2, 3. That's all you need. Simple, repeatable, effective. So I'm going to show you this in real time. Bucket number 1. This is going to be your in the moment tools. Okay? Make sure you're listening because you're creating this. I'm not creating this for you. You're creating this. Bucket 1 is going to be your in the moment tools. So these are going to be for when you're already activated. So you're dealing with anxiety, you're anxious, you're overwhelmed, or you have shut down. This is going in bucket number 1. Okay. If you're in hyper mode, anxious, racing thoughts, or overwhelmed, you need to use tools that calm you. Is that making it a little bit brighter? You need to use tools that calm you. Okay. So it could be the extended exhale where you exhale longer than you inhale. This teaches your body that you are safe. You may do the extended exhale. You may do the orienting where you look around whatever space you're in and you notice 3 things that you can see. You may do the gentle shaking or slow walking. I don't know. It was one video I demonstrated the gentle shaking. If you're only watching my shorts, you are missing out on a lot of helpful information. You have to watch the long form content. You can go to my inner healing playlist. I'm not going to demonstrate it now because I've already demonstrated this. But gentle shaking or slow walking is another tool that can slow you down, calm you down. Okay. Now, that's if you're in hyper mode. If you're in hypo mode, where you're dealing with numbness, you feel disconnected, or you have already shut down, you need tools that are going to activate you. Does that make sense? So you can do things like 30 seconds of brisk movement. You can do jumping jacks. I like to do this. I do it but running in place. That's another thing you can do. You can dance. You need something that's going to hype you up. All right. Also, cold water on your hands or your face. That's another thing that can help. And then standing up or just doing some stretches. That's if you're in hypo mode. So the key is you're going to match your tool to your nervous system state. Does that make sense? If you are anxious, you should not be doing jumping jacks. How is that going to help with anxiety? Jumping jacks? No, you need something that is going to calm you down. Slow breathing. right? Jumping jacks, that's just going to amp you up more. So if you're in a state where you're shut down, you're feeling disconnected, you're not going to sit there talking about, let me take some deep breaths. You want to go into the sunken place? Have y'all seen that movie, what, Get Out? Do you want to go to the sunken place? You're not going to do that. So you have to meet your nervous system where it is. Let me know, those of you that can type in the chat, even if you're watching the replay, let me know if you are usually hyper in a state of anxiety or if you're normally hypo when you're stressed. You just shut down. Let me know. Can I sit down now that I turn on the lights? I don't know. We're just going to do it anyway. All right. I don't see any responses. Let me move on. So you're going to choose your tool based on your nervous system state. All right. So even if you don't put it in the chat, I just need you to pick one. This is going to go in your bucket one. So whatever it is, write it down. If you use notes in your phone, however you do it is up to you. I just need you to write it down. Candace says it depends. Okay. Write it down, whatever your tool is going to be for that bucket one, because we're about to move on to bucket two. But you're literally building out your toolkit. Write it down in your notebook, your journal, your phone, so that you'll have it. Are you going to do the extended exhales? Are you going to do the cold water? We call it cold water therapy, even though it's not as deep as cold water therapy. What are you going to do? That's bucket number one. All right, let's go to bucket number two. So bucket number two, you've heard me talk about this before. Daily micro regulation. I just cannot deal with this darkness, y'all. Daily micro regulation. These are going to be small daily practices that teach your body regulation. It's going to teach your body safety, okay? So they're going to prevent you from getting dysregulated in the first place. You're going to think of this as your nervous system maintenance. So this is bucket number two. Some examples of this: 3 to 5 minutes of gentle movement, breath work, or body scanning in the morning. Immediately, okay? You can set a just one nervous system friendly boundary. It could be a 5-minute transition between work and home. Some type of midday check-in. What does my body feel right now? Thank y'all for hitting the like button. What does my body need right now? What is my body saying to me? Some type of check-in, okay? So when you're talking about this, for bucket number two, we're not talking about some 30-minute meditation that you never gonna do. No, micro. It needs to be about 3 to 5 minutes, okay? Something tiny, something doable, so that you can remain consistent, because this is how you're going to heal, okay? Here's the truth. The nervous system does not need an hour of yoga. You shouldn't be doing that anyway. All right. It just needs about 3 minutes of intentional presence, repeated daily. I promise you this works. So this is what is going to build your capacity. So I need you all, if you're able to, either drop it in the comments. Either way, I need you to write it down. Bucket number two, what is going to be your one, just pick one, daily micro practice that you're going to start implementing immediately. Write it down. Bucket number two. Are you going to do breath work in the morning? Are you going to do visualizations in the morning? Are you going to go on a morning walk? What's going to be your micro task? Are you going to do check-ins with your body midday? Are you going to do a scan before you go to bed? What is going to be your practice? 3 to 5 minutes of breath work. Okay, awesome. So make sure you all write that down. That's going to be your tool for bucket number two. Thank you for hitting the like button. All right, so bucket number three. And for those that are just coming in, my name is RONESHIA. I'm an inner healing coach. Today we are talking about, first of all, this is day 4 of the Nervous System Reset Challenge. If you have not been here all week, if you are just finding me, if my video is just popping up in your feed, not food, welcome to the healing side of YouTube. The replays are up so you can go back and start at day 1, okay? Today we're talking about the difference between coping. Can y'all see my dress? Because this dress is short. Coping and actually healing, all right? So this is bucket number 3. Structural and lifestyle supports. So this is where sustainable healing actually happens, okay? You can do all the breath work in the world, right? But if you are still not sleeping, if you are still eating sugar and drinking caffeine to make it throughout the day, if you are never setting boundaries, 3, never setting boundaries, and always in toxic environments, what is the breath work going to do? I don't think people realize how much can be fixed just by sleeping. Your body heals when you're asleep, okay? So your nervous system is going to stay dysregulated if you do not have something that supports your lifestyle. So bucket 3 is all about structure. Sleep. Your nervous system regulates while you are asleep. Nourishment. Hello, what are you putting in your body? If your blood sugar crashes, your nervous system is going to crash. What are you eating? I remember back in 2019, 2020, when someone died unexpectedly and I was going through all that anxiety and stuff. I couldn't eat chocolate at all. Now I'm not a big chocolate lover anyway, but one little piece of chocolate would send me over the edge. If you are someone you're already dealing with anxiety, why are you drinking coffee when you already anxious? Why are you filling up on sugar, Pepsi, candy? Y'all got to make it make sense, okay? So nourishment, boundaries, saying no. No is not just a complete sentence. No is a regulation tool, okay? So you're going to have to learn how to set boundaries. Movement. Your body needs to move the stress through. So there has to be some type of movement, and then you need rest rhythms. You need to schedule downtime outside of going to bed at night. Even during the day, you need to schedule some type of downtime. All right? Not just waiting until you collapse. And then, oh, well, I guess I better take a break now. No. All right? So, some examples of this, you can pick one evening per week where you just unplug. Okay. Where you just unplug one evening per week. You can say no to one thing that drains you. You can go to bed 30 minutes earlier. You can eat protein with your breakfast in order to stabilize your blood sugar. You can do something that I didn't even list. Okay, I've gotten to the point where I have downtime. I have downtime scheduled into my daily schedule. So I do downtown there's something I have to do downtown. I was talking about it this morning, but yeah, I have it scheduled into my daily schedule. Every day I get downtime, period. May not be the same time of day, but every single day. Thank y'all for hitting the like button. So these are not luxuries, you all. These are regulation tools. I need you to drop one structural support you can start adding this week. Even something small, but you need to be able to do this on a weekly basis. Listen, Candace. On a weekly basis. So that's going to be your bucket 3. All right. For some of you, you may just go to bed earlier. You may start saying no to one thing, not responding to a text message at all, unplugging, whatever it is. But at this point, we've gone through all 3. Daily scheduled downtime. Okay, good, Candace. So at this point, we've gone through all 3. If you just got on here, you can watch the replay so that you can set up your toolkit. All right. So you should have bucket 1, your in the moment tool. This is going to depend on your nervous system state. You should have what you're going to do in your bucket 2, your daily micro practice, and then the 1 structural support, because you can do all of the things. But if you don't have the lifestyle that supports it, You still gonna be dysregulated, honey bun. All right. So that's your toolkit. Simple, doable, sustainable. You have it. I know that's right, Candace. So if you know you have yours, even if you're watching the replay, drop the word toolkit in the chat. And we're going to move on to talk about the integration problem where many people get stuck, right? So they have all the tools, they have all the things, but the tools just sit there in their mobile app. It just sit in their notes. That's it. Or you may do them once and then you forget. Or you tell yourself, I'm gonna just start this on Monday. Like, what's today? Thursday? I think. Yeah. Okay, I see what she's talking about. I'll start Monday, and then Monday never comes. Like it comes, but it never comes as far as you starting. Tools don't work if you don't use them. Sometimes I say stuff so deep that y'all miss it. It be so deep, but so simple. These tools are not going to work if you don't use them. Okay? So let me show you how to integrate these in your busy life because you're a high achiever, right? Here are 3 integration strategies. Strategy number 1 is habit stacking. This is when you add a 1 to 2 minute tool into something on top of something that you already do. So for instance, some of y'all can't live without coffee. You got to get coffee every morning. You can't function. I can't start my day until I get coffee. Okay. So you get your coffee, you make your coffee, and then you get on your phone and start checking stuff. Let me see who I need to respond to. Let me check these emails. You just get on your phone and start scrolling. So what you're going to do, when you make your morning coffee, you're going to do 3 extended exhales. You're going to do some breath work, and you're going to do it before you check your phone. Habit stacking, 1 to 2 minutes. You can't say you don't have time for it, okay? If you're in the car, before you go pick up your kids, you're going to do a 2-minute body scan. How is my body feeling? What does my body need today? What is my body trying to tell me? Before them kids even get to working your nerves, you can go ahead and do that body scan. You may be on a bathroom break at work, or you can be on your lunch break at work. You can do cold water on your hands. You can get I was about to say a cold rag on your face, but that's not going to work unless you're working from home. You may splash some cold water on your face. People do that. And then you're going to take 3 deep breaths. You can't say, I don't have time to do it. You got to go to the bathroom. You got to take a lunch break, even if you decide not to eat. So y'all see that? You're going to stack these habits, all right? You're not adding time. You're just being more intentional with your time. So that's number 1. Strategy number 2, meet your state, all right? You're not trying to force. You can't just try to force instant calm. If you're anxious, you need to start with some form of a calming tool, exhaling, orienting, whatever calms you down and brings you back to the present moment when you are dealing with anxiety. And I have never seen a generation or generations that are as anxious as they are now. Some of this stuff got to do with the food they feed us. But anyway, if you're in a shutdown mode and you're numbing, you're going to start with some type of activation tool. So movement, cold water, then you're going to rest. Rest, all right? So tool layering is going to work better than you trying to force yourself. If you're trying to force yourself to heal, it is not going to work. All right. And strategy number 3, rhythms, not rigid routines. You need rhythms. You do not need this perfect morning routine. I know they make it good. The influencers make it look real good on social media. Baby, they're not perfect either, okay? A lot of them got brand deals. They getting the coin to make it look like that. You do not need a perfect morning routine, but you do need gentle anchors. So in the morning, you may do 1 grounding practice every morning. Midday, you may do one check-in with yourself. In the evening, you may do one release practice, okay? Things that are flexible, not rigid. You need anchors, not these rules. And then when you don't do it, you're beating yourself up. Oh my gosh, I was supposed to do this today. I'm a horrible person. I missed it. I don't got time for that. Yes, right? So don't got time for that. All right. So you need to find your rhythm instead of putting yourself in these harsh routines. Okay. So if you're seeing how this could actually work in your life, type integrate in the chat. And I'm gonna give you an example what this would look like in the life of the high achieving woman. Okay. So you wake up, you put your feet on the floor, let your feet touch the floor. Do 3 extended exhales before you even pick up your phone. Do not wake up grabbing your phone, checking to see what's going on. And I know it's easier said than done, but don't do that. Put your feet on the floor, do 3 extended exhales, and then say, what does my body need from me today? And do a scan, okay? At midday, this can take 1 minute, literally 1 minute. During your bathroom break or your lunch break, cold water on your hands or your face, like I said. Notice if your body, especially if you work like a call center or jobs, period, honey. Notice, am I in hyper mode or hypo mode? How am I feeling? Do I want to fight everybody in here? Do I want to strangle my boss? Do I want my coworker? Like, you need to be processing this. All right. Do that on your lunch break or a bathroom break. It could literally take 60 seconds or less. And then in the evening before bed, take a few minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Do some gentle shaking, like I showed you all in the other video. You can do stretching to release the day, and the shaking may make you feel crazy. You may at first like, oh my God, I feel so dumb. Honey, that mess works. I promise you, I couldn't call it mess. That practice works, the shaking. You can do hand on your heart. You can take slow breaths. Y'all know I love some heart tapping and talking to my heart, but those are different things that you can even do before bed. Total time for all of these things, 6 minutes. So why are you saying you don't have time? High achieving woman, what you mean you don't have time? You spend more than 6 minutes wasting time throughout the day. So what do you mean you don't have time? All right. You don't need an extra hour, you all. All right. You just need tiny, intentional reps that your nervous system can trust. This is how you integrate self-trust, okay? If that makes sense, drop reps in the chats. We're almost done. All right, so we're going to talk about, thank you, Candace. Let's talk about what sustainable healing actually looks like, okay? Because a lot of people have the wrong picture. Sustainable healing does not mean that you will never be activated. I'm never going to get triggered again. It is impossible for me to be triggered. That's a lie. Sustainable healing doesn't mean that you're always going to be calm. Sustainable healing that doesn't mean that you're going to get to a place where you're like, okay, I'm fixed, gotta go, or I'm done. I don't need to do any of this ever again. This is not that, okay? So when you're talking about sustainable healing, number one, it is increased capacity. I love the word capacity. Increased capacity. So the triggers still happen, but the intensity is lower. You recover faster. You don't spiral as deep. You're not known as the crash out queen anymore. Kaylin. Oh, thank you for staying, Kaylin. All right, you're not known as the I'm thinking about, I don't know who watching. So I can't even say. I would never say the name, but if I say who the person is, they would know that I'm talking about them. Any little thing. But listen, you do not have to be known as the crash out queen, okay? Sustainable healing, increased capacity. Number two, different choices over time. This is what sustainable healing is. You say no sooner. without guilt and without apology, also without explanation. You rest before you crash. Okay? You leave misaligned spaces. This includes people, places, and things. You leave them where they are. All right? And you also change your patterns in work and relationships. All right, if you're just coming in, can you all please hit the like button? Also, sustainable healing is body markers. So you have better sleep, okay? Your sleep quality actually goes up. You have less constant tension in your body and fewer extreme spikes and crashes. And then there are the emotional markers where you're going to notice that you have more self compassion. You're giving yourself more grace. You're going to have less shame, especially around the fact that you are still healing. It is a journey, okay? And then you're going to have the ability to feel and move through emotions instead of just numbing them and pretending that these things don't exist. Does that make sense? Type healing in the chat if you're starting to see what sustainable healing looks like. So let me ask you something. For those of you that have been here from days 1 through 3, even if you're watching the replay, you can still comment underneath, okay? Where have you already seen small signs of sustainable healing this week? If you've been here Monday through Wednesday, let me know. You can drop it in the chat. You can drop it under the video if you're watching the replay. So are you noticing that you notice your nervous system states faster? You're more aware. Are you being kinder to yourself? Have you been using one tool at least? Some of you may be using more than one. Are you feeling less shame? All right. Sorry, y'all, I'm drinking. Even if it's a tiny shift, you should be noticing, okay? So some of you may notice your jaw isn't clenching as much, your shoulders aren't as tight. You may have noticed, oh, well, I just did the exhale practice twice and I didn't even think about it. It just came out, okay? All of that. This is regulation. This is what thriving looks like when you're going from a place of surviving to thriving, all right? So you're already doing it. You just have to have consistent shifts. Exactly, Kieran. That's something I talk about, celebrating small wins. Absolutely. So some of you, you've been seeing the small, consistent shifts. Okay, I'm almost done. That's why I'm sitting down. We're almost done. So this isn't about perfection. It's not about never getting triggered. Okay. Candace says more aware, less crash outs. Also, nothing. Noticing when negative things happen, I didn't get discouraged, but thank God for the really. See, awesome, right? So this is how you know you're moving from a place of surviving to thriving. So here's what I need you to remember: sustainable healing is cyclical, not linear. All right, you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have hard days. You're gonna have good days, you're gonna have hard days. In my opinion, the hardest part about healing is actually starting. To me, that's the hardest part, is starting. If you can just start, baby, everything else is easier, in my opinion. All right. So there are some days where you're going to regulate beautifully in one moment. You might dysregulate the next. Don't beat yourself up. That's normal. You're human. You're not a robot. Kaylin, please, Kaylin, don't start with me because I'm trying to be serious. Thank you so much, Kaylin. Do not start. Don't start. Okay. This girl threw me off. Okay, yeah, you're human. Okay, you are not a robot. So thriving doesn't mean that you have arrived on this grand throne. It means that you have the capacity to come back to yourself. Thank you, Keelan, right? And you all are building that capacity right now. So drop the word capacity in the chat. All right. So I'm done. Before we close, quick reminder. Yep, I gotta go. Quick reminder, all right, if you want these practices in audio form, you can grab your reset kit. Tomorrow is the last day that you can get this kit as a standalone product. It is only $47. All right, it includes five guided audio practices, a digital workbook. You can also print it if you prefer writing in it with pen. I included a 30-day nervous system tracker, and then you have 10 micro practices, the PDF, 10 things that you can do in 60 seconds or less that will regulate you. It's going to bring you back to yourself. I promise it works. And then you get private chat access with me during the challenge as well. All right. So if you want it, the link is in the description. It is also going to be down below underneath the video. Tomorrow is day 5. It is our final day. Lord have mercy. Okay. So tomorrow we're going to talk about your regulated future, and I'm going to be answering some of your questions. I already have some questions. I already received some questions. So if you want to submit a question and you don't want anybody to know that it was you, you can just respond to the emails, any one of those emails that I send out in the morning or the evening. You can respond back with your question. I'm not going to say I can answer all questions tomorrow because I don't know how many questions I'm going to end up with, but I'll try my best to answer all questions tomorrow at the end, okay? Sorry for coughing in your ear. Thank you, Candace. So that's what we're doing tomorrow. We're going to talk about what's next for you, answer your questions, and we're going to close out tomorrow. I will be back on at 1 because I don't have class tomorrow. So you can set your reminder. Before you go, drop your homework in the chat. What is one tool from your toolkit that you built earlier that you're going to commit to using at least one time tomorrow? And if you haven't built your toolkit yet, or if you're just getting on, it's going to stay up so you'll be able to catch the replay. I want you to build your toolkit, and after you build it, just drop even below this video, what is one tool you're going to use tomorrow? If nothing happens tomorrow where you need it, you can say this weekend, okay? You're going to commit to using. It could be the extended exhale. I love doing that. I like breath work and visualizations, but whatever you all choose. All right, so thank you for being here. Thank you for building your capacity. Thank you for choosing yourself. I have 10 minutes to get to class. I'll see you all tomorrow for the final day. I figured you were going to do that, Candace. I said I was going to do start practicing line dancing again. I have no rhythm, but I just like to dance. I don't care. So I need to brush up on my line dancing, but I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you for choosing yourself. Thank you for joining. Send this to someone you know who needs it. And yeah, I'm out.